Welcome everybody. This is Mystic Muse live online, our weekly metaphysical chat. Glad everybody could make it today. We'll see what audience we get today. Every week is a little bit different, but for the ones that do show up, welcome to all of you. And my name is David Shepherd Love. I am the co-host of the show here.
Hi everyone, I'm Deborah Christie Love, and again, as David said, it's Friday here at Mystic Muse, another metaphysical chat. Hope we have some viewers and questions and comments. We're happy to talk about all things metaphysical and anything relevant to you or the world at this time, and hope we have an interesting show again today.
Well, I'm sure we will. I think the cosmic energy's got me a little bewildered today, or dizzy, so hopefully I get through it. Another hour. Every week's going to be a little bit different, so we'll do our best, and really appreciate any comments and questions that you might have, because that really drives our show.
It does, and I'm just checking my volume here. Making sure it's up there. I bet you that's better.
Nice to be heard, right?
Yeah, always good if you can hear what we're saying and not just see our lips moving. Yeah, so huge things coming up cosmically, all of alignments, and an eclipse is the next event on the horizon here. And I guess it's a new moon eclipse, kind of a partial eclipse, but it's going to be very powerful. And it's kind of a last-ditch effort so that we can let go of the remaining baggage, the old stuff that we are hanging on to still, and we can let that go before we have the huge alignment coming up on the 21st to the end of the month. And that's going to be so huge. You're going to want to do the work beforehand if you can consciously let go and work on that and purge and maybe meditate more and get on that, because the less baggage we have when we have this huge alignment coming up, the better off we'll be, and we'll probably have less symptoms if we are purged of all those old things, because they are going to just add up and make it difficult for us if we keep holding on to those things. So this is a huge alignment coming up at the end of the month, and that is hugely magnetic. It may cause us to feel dizzy, nauseous even, all kinds of different symptoms, hot flashes, memory lapses, strange dreams, difficulty sleeping, loss of appetite. There's going to be a lot of different things that come up for us, and I think it's important to be aware of that and not maybe think you're dying or run to the doctor, or you're gonna get through it. It's just a matter of not fighting the energy and kind of going with the flow of it, so that we can let it do its work, let it work on a cellular level with our bodies, and that would make it easier for us, I believe.
Well, we always do the best that we can. I know this 21st date is, I don't think I've seen the 21st date of December more heralded since 2012, when the great calendar shifted over, and since then there's been a lot of changes going on in the earth. It really, a lot of these timing periods that we get, like the 2012 one, is the beginning of days. It's not like so much everything shifts that day and it's different, but what we're seeing is a greater increase of energy here on the earth, more consciousness, more light coming into the earth, and that's what's really changing everything. So the outer signs might look similar to a lot of people, especially people that don't necessarily see a lot or are that conscious. Pretty much business as usual. But for the light workers and people that are sensitive to the light, the more conscious people, they're seeing more and more changes all the time. I personally have been doing this 40 years, so I'm seeing massive changes here on Earth. So glad that we're actually getting some movement. It gets a little discouraging after decades of non-movement. So everything is okay. I think it's the other thing is being at the end of the year, and especially at the end of our 2020 year, which is I always think of 2020 as that perfect vision. So we're in that perfect vision right now as scary as it may look with all the maskers and different things, all the shutdowns and borders locking up. But really, this is just awakening everybody. Everybody's just forced into awakening. All this time of lockdown, people are going inside, becoming more introspective. They're examining their governments and systems stronger than ever. So what that's doing is creating a tremendous conscious influx here on the earth. So as we move towards the end of the year, now just about 3 weeks away, more and more people are going to want to say, what the F, we don't want to live this life anymore. We want conscious change. We want a conscious world. So as we get into the new year, just like every new year, people are making their proclamations for the next year. What do they want to see that's better? And this year we've been forced, so many millions, billions around the world have been forced to subjugate themselves to these rules, and they've had enough. So watch out, Illuminati, because millions, billions of awakened people are just going to be a little hard to wrangle down anymore.
Well, and the thing is, I think we've had a lot of wonderful, peaceful protests, people by the millions going out and marching against some of these shutdowns and things going on, and a lot of it isn't being picked up on mainstream media, unfortunately, but I think there's millions more aware of what's going on and working against it and protesting peacefully and of course meditating on it. But the new energy coming in for next year is more about not protesting the government or fighting against something. It's more about making the changes within and realizing that we're creating our reality from the inside out, and all those things were necessary and are still necessary, and they will be going on still, but we will be working more within ourselves, creating our own reality from within and doing the inner work, consciously creating our immediate world and environment around us, which will spread out. And I think that is where the new energy is really taking us. It's taking us to a new level of awareness that we have more control and more power than we've ever thought we had before. And people are going to start working with that and consciously creating in a new and better way.
Well, and that's where the real power lies. I think is the power within. Way back in the 80s, I was working with an event called World Healing Day, and while all of my friends or people, not their friends, but people I knew around the community, they were out there marching in the street and holding the banners and saying down with this and down with that. Whereas I think the most powerful peace movement is that one within that works with meditation, that works with group consciousness, harmonizing of souls. And all of these protests, a lot of times just lead to a lot of bad feelings, I guess you'd say, bad energy, especially if there's anger or fear associated with it. So, the most powerful protests that are going around the world now are the ones where people just gather in masses and they don't say a word. They just sit there and send love, healing, harmonizing energy, and that's the energy that really shifts everything. So, as we move into the 5D energy, which we strongly are right now, that's going to be the new norm. It's not going to be necessary to speak up and raise the banner and, call everybody out on the floor. Though I highly encourage you to do that. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's a place for everything, and we need people out there like that too, that call people out, because the truth is, that's what this is all about, is getting the truth out, getting the love and light out, and so it's all perfect, it's all working out, and exciting time to be alive.
Yes, I think we've all seen those T-shirts or signs that say, be the change, or be the peace, or be the thing you want to bring into the world. And I think on a conscious level, a lot of people read that, but they don't actually understand, what does that mean? What does it mean to be the peace or be the change? And I think what it means is live that change in your own life. Be the example Do the things that feel right to you. Live the holistic lifestyle. Do a job that doesn't require any going against what you believe in, that kind of thing. And just anchoring that energy into the environment around you. People see you, and that energy spreads more than you think it does. Being an example spreads more and farther. Your family sees that, your children see that, your neighborhood and community see that. And that is what really makes the changes, because people see you doing it and living that authentic life, and they think, well, if they can do it, so can I. And that becomes a movement that will spread out in the world. And I think light workers have been doing that for hundreds of years, basically. And often we think, oh, I'm not doing enough, I'm not out there with the movement and the sign and all that stuff. But we are doing it within. We are creating that ripple effect, and that's where this date comes into play, and this alignment that is happening is really changing the energy. It's like giving us that push, and the snowball effect is happening. The ripples are spreading bigger and bigger all the time, and this is just a mark in the sand that says we've reached a certain amount, and it's going to start manifesting faster than ever and become more visible quickly. So I'm excited about it.
Right. Sorry, I was just looking at the camera. They Facebook and all their wisdom that really tell us who's watching. It could be a few people. It could be 100 sometimes. We never really know. I kind of wish it was 100.
Well, we'll find it after.
I think you show up in the comments. That's why we like the comments. And just thought I saw a friend of mine from.
Okay, you don't have your thing spinning today.
No, I decided that we would try the still shot today. And so if anybody does have a comment or question, or just to say hi, that'd be great. That way we know that you're here. I see there's a friend of yours.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few popping in and out.
Popping in and out. It's strange.
Hi, everyone.
I don't think they actually popped out. I think Facebook just kind of pops them up on the screen and then they go away. And they may actually still be there. We don't really know. Just glad to have a little bit of audience base. We're getting hundreds of views on our afterplay, so that's good. And I think we've got it on YouTube several times now too. So there's plenty of ways to follow up on Metaphysical Muse online, weekly metaphysical chat.
Yeah, join our Facebook page, Mystic Muse. We keep all of our posts and events up to date there, and it's probably the best place if you're watching us here on Facebook anyways. And we will have all the reruns will be there somewhere, and they're also on YouTube on the Deborah Christie Love channel, and you can see most of them there.
Yeah, that's good. You want to do our energy reading for the week?
Yeah, I got a deck out here. Do you have the box to show what we're working with today?
Healing with the Angels Oracle card, Doreen Virtue. That's written backwards, but you get a nice graphic there. And that is Doreen Virtue. I can see that even backwards. And so I'll let you shuffle through that.
This is our card today. Is this our card today? Yeah, this one kind of flew out to me.
Oh, okay.
And we have Archangel Michael here. And of course my intention for the week is always to be relevant to our viewers that are watching, and we have the Archangel Michael card today. Now Michael is kind of our first chakra angel. He is in charge of our base chakra, helping with security issues and money and home environment and protection, basically. I know I work with Archangel Michael a lot and call him in for protection and clearing and helping with those kind of issues. He's also known to be protector of light workers, and probably works with most of us, even if we're either aware of it or not aware of it. He's very powerful, and you can always call on him if you feel that you need a boost or you need help. And he also helps cut a lot of ties to attachments and maybe addictions or things we're hanging on to and want to let go of. hanging on to situations and that kind of thing. And he actually can come and help you cut cords to that kind of situation, and he's very helpful. But like all angels, they need to be called in. They want to be asked and invited in, and you will notice the difference when you do that. They really are not allowed to interfere too much. If they see us struggling and we're trying to do it all on our own, they're going to let us do it all on our own. But I always feel that if I don't have to do it on my own, why would I do that? I call them in at every opportunity, every healing, every chance I get, because I know that I can definitely use all the help I can get. And I imagine you feel the same way.
Yeah, it seems like I don't really follow the archangels very specifically, but I know that Archangel Michael sure seems to be at the top of the list for a lot of people, and probably that like for the reason that you say, he's the protector. He's the one that deals with the most base functioning of us. That's why the root chakra is a good comparison. That is our security area, our safety. We have to get past the first chakra before we move on. That's why it's the lower vibrational frequency in a literal sense. It's associated with the red color, which vibrates at a lower rate or lower frequency than the colors or the chakras that are above that. So Archangel Michael is here to help us. I know a lot of people have security issues, especially in in 3D, of course, but also in the spiritual realm. We feel a little under attack. We get toxic people around our lives, or even disembodied entities, and it's good to know that there are people. I want to call Archangel Michael a person. I don't know if he thinks himself as a human or not. He's, like so many of us, we're much more than this physical body. That's kind of, speaking of lower density, that's just the lower density part. So when you get into the archangels, it's a very evolved being that has spent eons of time working with the light, mastering the light, and he cuts through it. That's why he's shown with the sword, because he goes through there and cuts through the crap. You got security issues. You got people that are toxic issues that are going on in your life. He's going to be there for you. So. But as you said, we do need to call in the angels or any of our spirit guides or anybody that's on the other side. Just as quickly as we think the thought. We don't even have to finish the thought, but as soon as the intention is set to call one of these angels or guides in, they're going to be there. That's the way it works in 5D. There's no time in 5D. There's no space, distance in 5D. So as quickly as we have the thought, we send out the intention, we have a fear or a challenge in our lives, then allow an archangel that you identify with, or Archangel Michael, to come in, and that can really boost your energy. It's a real energy. It's a very powerful being, but like so much in the 5D reality, we have to start believing ourselves, because his belief is the door or the key to the door that connects the two realities.
It's true, and even though, I said, he is in charge of our base chakras, the red chakra, he is also associated with the color blue as well, which is a very high vibrational color, and he often, if people are aware of him, appears as a blue flash, or they see blue around him, or something blue with him, and that's another identifier for Archangel Michael, and he can be everywhere at once, so people don't need to fear that their problem's too big or too small. All of the archangels are omnipresent. They can be everywhere at once, and in fact are everywhere at the same time, and they can handle everything at once, and we don't have to fear that, maybe this problem's not big enough to call in the archangels. They love to be called no matter what it is, and don't feel that you're not important enough, because we all have that same opportunity to call on all of our archangels.
Yep, so that sums up what else we got for today. Our listeners are being quiet today. I actually see one of your friends there in that tiny little half-inch circle.
I can't hardly make that. Okay, there's Eric.
Is that Eric? Yeah, so
Yeah.
welcome, Eric. first person I've identified. And I know you're good at questions, especially with the NDE questions. So feel free to pipe in there anytime, or any of our listeners, or even if you see this on replay, or is available through our website at Mystic Muse Online. Send us a message, or connect with us on our Facebook page at Mystic Muse.
That's true. Yeah, so there's been a lot of stuff this week. I've just finished a new article that I'm going to be posting probably later today on my blog, and it's kind of about life purpose, because it's come up so many times for me this week, with people's questions or with situations I've seen. And often people think that, oh, what's my life purpose? What should I be doing? And it seems like it should be some monumental, life-changing mystery that needs to be solved. But I think, in my experience, it's not that. It's really, our life is all of our experiences. We can't do it wrong. We worry far too much that I'm going to get it wrong. And that's really impossible. Life gives us all these opportunities to make choices and listen to our intuition or not listen to our intuition. But we have a guide within us, and I'm going to say that most of our negative experiences happen because we don't pay attention or listen. Your life purpose is going to be something always that you have some inclination toward, that you're good at, that you have a talent toward, that you keep getting messages to try, even though maybe you haven't gave it serious thought yet. But it's not going to go away until you do listen. It's one of those things that'll just be nagging you until you do try it, because we all come in with this map within, and our life purpose is tied to that. It's going to be something that feels right for you. It's going to be something that you feel fulfilled doing, that feels useful and helpful to others perhaps, that you enjoy. It's not going to be something that's, even though it may involve a lot of work, it's not going to feel like work. And that's how we know this is what's right for us, because it feels good. It feels like we are doing something that we came here to do. And that really is everything in our life. Our life is self-correcting. If we find something we don't like, it didn't turn out, that was a stepping stone to get where we do need to go. So nothing is wasted in our lifetime. And I think that's a big dilemma. People really feel like, oh, it's got to be something, I'm not aware of yet. It's not. It's everything that we do. It's every person you've ever helped. It's every smile you've smiled. It's everything you've ever done. And that is your life's purpose. Living the best life you can every moment, doing the best you can every day, that is your life's purpose. It's all tied together. It's all one big puzzle at the end of your life, and it all fits. It's all part of it. So I don't think it's as complicated as people want it to be or expect it to be. So.
Well, and I always think of, when you talk about your life purpose, and exactly what that is. A lot of us don't know that. We can go through decades and we don't necessarily find out. But the technique that I always found that works really good is just, if you're a meditator, or even if you just find a quiet place out in nature and contemplate, during those times, just start paying attention to your thoughts, and if there's certain phrases or words that come up, then make a note of that. Write them down. Particularly the one worders. Maybe it's laughter, or see the color blue, or who knows. I mean, everybody's an individual. But what you'll do is develop a catalog of what's important to you, because you're thinking about what's important to my life. And if you do this 2 or 3 times, you begin to see a pattern of words and so forth. That spirit talking to you, guiding you towards your life purpose and what brings you the most joy. You might just ask yourself that, what brings me the most joy, or what brings me the most bliss? And all of a sudden a word will pop in. And if you do this in a contemplative space, most of the time, those words are going to be guiding principles for your life. So it's not necessarily as difficult as it sounds to get on your life purpose. Just a matter of tuning in and seeing where Spirit takes you, going with the flow type of stuff. I do want to acknowledge Eric's sentence here. Can you read that?
How was your week since we heard from you last week? I guess our week was pretty average. Seems that way. Yeah. Had a little bit of activity here, not a lot. We'd like to see more going on, but yeah, always meeting new people, trying to get ready a little bit for the Christmas season. I think we ran our first big ad in the local free paper here, so hopefully that brings in a few more people.
Mm-hmm. And we've had a little weather here.
Yeah.
When it rains here in the desert, everybody
Mark your calendar.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I don't think we've seen rain in 2 months, so we've had a couple days of rain, light rain as it were. But the trees and the plants, the animals, and even the people are rejoicing. So
I know. I woke up hearing some of that rain yesterday morning and thought, I was excited. It was like, wow, I never get excited about rain in Canada because it's way too much. But here, it's like, wow, we haven't had rain forever. Our poor trees must be, suffering, and the ground is getting pretty hard. So I'm really happy that we've had a few showers since yesterday. And yeah, it's only going to help the grass be green and the trees survive.
Yep, that's good, and I think for me, and I imagine a lot of people are going through that. There's just a lot of ups and downs going on. This new energy is really strong right now, so I find myself every day sometimes shifting. Even in the middle of the day, I'll be up one day, or in the middle of the day, and down a few hours later, and there's no real reason for that. Just more of a sensitivity, more of like the energies have become so strong that we really feel the impact of that. So the even kill, as it were, is something that would be nice to get back to, because I'm looking around at so many people, and they're just having extremes all the time. They're in this extreme bliss or happiness. Everything seems perfect in the world, and then maybe hours or days later they're feeling some really major depression or anxiety in their lives. And there's really no reason. Not like their lives have changed that much. It's just more of a sensitivity and how we're repressing, how we're assimilating all this new energy. So I invite everybody just to hang in there. Watch your diet, watch your sleep. Meditate if you can. Move into sacred space whenever you can. Try to avoid the toxic people, toxic information out there the best that you can, and just try to stay in a good place. And because your sensitivity, my sensitivity, is just through the roof right now. So I just have to be on guard wherever I'm at. Speaking of St. Michael, the great garter, I feel like him. I got to cut away the crap all the time, because it's just left and right, and it has such a great effect on me anymore that it's very important to be diligent in how we handle the toxic environment that's around us.
It's very true that I think the best thing you can do for yourself at this point in time is be the observer of your thoughts. Learn to control what's going through your mind. Be aware of what's causing you to feel agitated or fearful or anxiety, and deal with it the first moment that you notice it, because we have the ability to change our thoughts. If we're having fearful thoughts that are giving us anxiety, we have the ability to tell ourselves to just stop that train of thought and move yourself into something that feels good. It could be a thought about something happening in the future you're excited about, something that was in the past, or bring yourself to what are you doing right here and now, and what are you grateful for today. If we do that diligently, it will start to happen automatically, and those good thoughts attract more good thoughts. We have to be the observer. We can't just let whatever pops into our head have a heyday with, attracting more negative thoughts. If we have some negative thoughts, we have to say stop. Don't beat yourself up for it. That's normal. It's going to happen, but you can change it. What am I grateful for today? what can I do that is pleasant this day? What am I looking forward to? You know, maybe it's just dinner, maybe it's something you want to read later on. There's always something to be grateful for. And when we focus on that, or what we're just doing in the moment, those fearful thoughts go away. The things giving us anxiety go away. And we have the ability to do that. We don't have to be, you know, at the mercy of every random thought that comes into our head. And I think that the more we can practice this, the happier and better off we will be. We don't need to get a full-blown anxiety attack. We don't need to let fear run away in our lives. We can change it quickly.
Okay, so that's how our week is from a metaphysical perspective. I think we could do one of my cards now.
Okay, we have something come up here.
Oh.
Could you walk us through the services you offer? Explain what they're all about for those like myself, not familiar with the terms or services provided.
I don't know if anybody can hear your voice there, but...
Eric wants to know about our services that are provided here. Just hit the screen. That should go. So here, in this room here, is actually our little healing reading room. So we have the table here. We offer card readings, mostly David right now. Doing the card readings and even phone readings, online readings. They could be by video or by voice. There's a Reiki table set up here, so Reiki treatments are available. The healing life force energy that helps release and reduce stress and anxiety, and bring your vibration up so that whatever you're dealing with or healing from will happen faster and quicker with Reiki treatment. The other thing we have is our little shop here, and we have a lot of cards and pendulums and gift ideas. What else do we have here? Incense, sage, a lot of books, used and new. Just a huge variety of crystals and crystal jewelry, a lot of different things.
I'm just reading through his notes. There's several things listed there. What I like about this area that we're in, we're literally in the shadow of Sedona, and Sedona is known around the world as a metaphysical capital of New Age thought. Hundreds of different metaphysical shops there. It's easy to get a reading or crystals or just about anything along that line. But when you come down to Camp Verde, just 30 minutes away, down in the valley here, we're the only shop in the area. There actually was another shop not too far away in Rimrock, and I noticed it's now closed up and moved up to Sedona. So, you know, if you want to go where there's hundreds of shops, and that's great, amazing energy up there. But for the locals down here, what we're doing is energizing this area, bringing in the crystalline energy, but bringing in more of the new thought energy. This community right here is just literally just a few hundred yards away from the oldest standing fort in Arizona. So a lot of devastating energy where the natives were massacred and so forth. And so what we're doing here at Mystic Muse and as a partnership here is to help revitalize that energy, purify it, cut away that dead, dying energy, and bring a much stronger light and resonance into this area. So that's what we're doing on a metaphysical level. Of course, we do offer all of the services that any metaphysical shop offers. Card readings, I imagine being at the top of that. A lot of people are looking for advice, but I'm just surprised how many people just come by and talk. I mean, it's not just a matter of trying to profit off people, though that's always nice. By the way, we could use your money. Come down. Christmas is coming. Hint, hint. And but at the same time, I think half the people that come by are just people that are drawn in. They like the vibration here, or they don't even know why. They just make a right hand turn, and all of a sudden they're in our driveway. And the reason for that is because a lot of people are looking for change, are looking for like-minded individuals. The light is in so many people. So when they find that there is a metaphysical catalyst here, happening right here in their community, it can be a great thing. They don't have to drive all the way up to Sedona and deal with tens of thousands of people and traffic jams. They can just come to this nice mellow environment right here on Main Street in Camp Verde, and get their fix of light. And I've seen so many changes with just the people that come in randomly, not intending to buy anything, but just here to share their wealth of information while we attempt to share ours.
Yeah, we've had a few new people in just yesterday, and it's going to continue. We're also offering at the end of the month, the last Wednesday of the month, a free drum circle, and that drumming circle is for combined intentions, to combine our intentions for healing of personal situations, people, and the world in general. And when we combine our intentions with the drumming, it's very powerful. And that's just something we offer to bring people in and get to know us. And that's always a fun event as well. And I will be offering in the near future the past life regression work that I was doing back in Canada. And we will be offering that soon. Of course, that is always interesting. No two people are ever alike, and it's very wonderful to help people learn about the things in the past that may be still affecting them in this present lifetime, and how just knowing about it sometimes can really alleviate certain symptoms or fears or phobias that they have in this lifetime. And it really answers a lot of questions for people as well.
I also see that Eric has talked a little bit about how do we meditate, find a more peace and less stress in our life. So I think with meditation, people have put too much mystery into it. It's really about just calming the mind, calming the body, finding that more peaceful spot. And for some of us, that means sitting on for myself, I should say, that means sitting on a sheepskin and crossing my legs and taking on the Buddha pose. But certainly not necessary. You can just sit in a chair. Lay on your bed, if not that I'd recommend that. I think it leads to sleep for most of us.
You may fall asleep first.
Or just find a peaceful spot in nature that you like, or maybe you got a spot in your yard. It's all about finding that peaceful spot, and also tuning into your breath. It can be very important with that, because the mind does tend to wander. Most of us have busy minds, and that's everybody's. I have found that's the number one reason that people don't meditate, because they think, oh, I can't quiet my mind. And so I do recommend that when you meditate is to focus on your breath. It may be necessary to come up with some type of mantra. My personal mantra is just love, inhale love, exhale peace. So it could be something as simple as that. You could also go into Sanskrit words like Satnam, or other words with the Eastern Indian studies. Can also be very effective, because these are words that are known to vibrate purely. So there's a lot of different ways to meditate, and even if it's just a couple minutes a day, try to get devoted with that. Set a time early in the morning or in the evening, perhaps, before you go to bed, and just breathe, just meditate, think peaceful thoughts, and it's going to really change your life. And before you know it, you'll start to see more peace in your life, more harmony in your life, and at least for me, if I skip a day, then I just my whole day just goes upside down. So I've learned in this high energy times, it's more important than ever to meditate, find that peaceful, quiet spot within, and just go for it.
Yes, I have a fairly quiet mind, so I like to meditate with quiet and solitude. But I think people with a busy mind, if you're just beginning to learn to meditate, often it's good to maybe listen to either a beginner guided meditation. There's very many of them on YouTube. I think, David, you have some even on your channel.
I do.
Your Nature's Will channel, some beautiful guided meditations or visualizations. And those are very helpful if you can't find trouble concentrating on and having the peace and quiet when it's given to you and you're following kind of a guided little trip in your mind, so to speak, or visionary trip. It helps you learn to do it on your own, and eventually you'll be able to do it on your own. The other thing is perhaps the 528 hertz music. There's a lot of YouTubes you can just tune into and put your earphones on and put that down, at a fairly quiet background type level, and listen to that 528 hertz vibration, or maybe 432 hertz. Those are the solfeggio tones, and those raise your vibration just by hearing them. And that can be in the background and help you meditate as well.
All right, so I hope that helps, Eric. I appreciate you chiming in there. That makes our life. We're already 45 minutes in there in this show, and that part of that is thanks to you, Eric. So I really encourage people to chime in, and no question is off limits. So I'm glad to have them. So I'm going to do one of my cards right now. This is the rainbow equation from my Rainbow Bridge teachings from a long time ago. I've actually been doing this since my early 20s. So we'll see what Spirit has for us today. I'll try to do a little shorter one today. Yeah. Never know what you're going to get. And this one says, Christ saying, I am the Alpha and the Omega, each time he speaks in Revelation. So, when do you do that? The Alpha and the Omega is the is it Latin, I believe? The beginning and the end. So when you start operating in this consciousness, we're talking about the Christ. We're not just talking about a personage necessarily, also known as Jesus or Asua. We're talking about a Christ energy, which is a pure energy of love and light and pure wisdom. And so as we move more into Christ consciousness, we also move into a sense of timelessness. So when Christ is talking about, he's the Alpha and the Omega, that means he's beyond these constraints of time, where all of your experiences kind of mesh into the now, where all of the past and the future all emerge into this one now moment. So that's very consistent with the 5D reality that's around us. When we cross over or we have visitations during our dream or psychic awareness times, there's no time over there. It's just all immersed over. The whole cycle of time is more of a man-made construct based upon the rotation of planets and so forth. We just kind of needed a way to keep track of the events that are around us. But in reality, there's not a lot of... In reality, there is no time. It's just a man-made construct, and we learn that more than ever as we move into 5D reality or Christ consciousness, that we can generate our lifestyles, our manifestations out into the future just by holding the present moment. And all of our past experiences, they all make up who we are. So all of these emerge together into what's called the Alpha and the Omega, becoming one with that. Christ says that he's one with the Father, and who's all light and all love. So once we start living in that reality, we really can be the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. To where we don't need to wait for manifestations. We're creating them at each present moment. So it's a wonderful place to be, and don't worry about the future, because we are the future, and don't worry about the past, because we're also that. So we're a makeup of all of that, all contained in this wonderful present time called the now.
Yeah, really, the Alpha and Omega, when you think about it, time in life is eternal, so there is really no beginning and no end. So being here now is both at the same time, and I feel like that's really the essence of I'm the Alpha and the Omega right here, right now. And that beginning and end is always with you, always present, and always now, because that's all that really exists and all that we can ever experience at in one present moment. And it's also about the whole and the parts, the beginning and the end, but also the one and the all. And we're both of those at the same time as well, in that instant that is always now and present. So it's a really wonderful concept. And as you said, the Christ consciousness is there, available for everyone, and we all are achieving that in our own time and space and in our own reality and experience. So we are all that one, experiencing it separately, so to speak. But it's all connected and all present in that one moment, in that one consciousness that people like to believe is Jesus. Experience the Christ consciousness. Well, as he said, all these things you do, or I do, you can do and more, and that's because he knows that we are all headed for that same experience of this master consciousness at some level, at some point, and we'll all get there.
Yep, that's very true. I think of that, I think it, in the Way of Mastery books by Michael Hammer, Mark Hammer. And he master channeler and channeling the Christ energy, and he said that in this Christ talking, he said it might appear that I've gone a little bit further than you have, but in reality, we're all the same. We all have that infinite potential. And whether that's say we got a drunkard on the street who's sitting on the park bench, well, this person has just as much potential as Jesus the Christ does. The only difference is that Christ has applied his energy and has manifested this reality to him, but that doesn't make him any different than the most common person on earth. So, don't be discouraged that when you look at these ascended masters or enlightened ones, people that seem to have success in their lives, well, they're really no different than you and I. We're all humans, but we all have the divine light within. And this is where our focus should be on it, not in comparison, or idol worship, as I call so many Christians. I was just looking at a picture. I looked up priest and priestess today, and there were all the priests subjugating themselves in front of the bigger priest. Well, that's not. I don't see how that's real productive necessarily. I mean, the big priest up there should be subjugating himself down to the lowest type of environment. Christ, in one of the parables, he went out and washed the beggar's feet. He didn't consider himself better than those people. He was, he and I think all of us, we just want to be of service to people and be of light to people, and we don't see ourselves better or worse than anybody, and so I invite yourselves to live in your power, to live in your Christ energy, live in that God and Goddess that you truly are, and stop focusing on these people that it might appear to be more powerful or more enlightened than ourselves, because it's not really true. We're all the same under the skin.
It's true. It's funny. I've never been one of those people that understood even, they see a movie star and I need your autograph, and they flock to these people, and I've never understood that way of thinking. It's never been a concept I really ever grasped. So I guess that's why, because I know better. I know that we all have that same potential, as you say, and that doesn't compute in my mind, and it never has. So I find that interesting. I still see that going on in the world, and it's always kind of baffled me.
Well, I remember one tell I'll share was we're filling our time here is I lived in the ashram in the mid '80s for a year, and this was under Yogi Bhajan. I'm sure a lot of people might remember him. He died several years ago, but he actually came and visited, and of course, when the yogi visits the ashram, it's a amazing experience, for all the worshippers, especially for all the Sikhs there. And I was just a resident there, so just on my path there, not really a Sikh, but he actually ended up showing up. I was just I knew he was going to show up that day, but I didn't know when. And all of a sudden, there's this older man standing at my door in my room, Yogi Bhajan, the great superstar, the guy that brought the yogi to the West, in the amazing stories, and he's more honored now than ever. But I had some music playing in the background, and he said, "Oh, don't worry about it. Anyway, it was a very friendly comment, and I remember thinking to myself, "Oh, he's just a man. He's just another person." And he might have these great reputation and enlightenment that he's attained, but what I saw him, just another man, and he acted like that. He's very very friendly and down to earth. It wasn't this big superstar that we like to make out of people. So. That's kind of how I feel about all people. I don't care if they're the president of a country or a queen or they've had 50 movies. It doesn't change my opinion about them. I'm look at everybody from a human perspective, and whatever celebrity, most of that's just an illusion based upon idol worship.
It is. I think, like you said, we're all one and the same, and we really need to do our best to feel that unconditional love or love of humanity, and know that we all have that potential to be great or be whoever we want to be, and be that creator of our reality.
We do. And we're down to 7 minutes now, approximately. What else do we got today for our lovely viewers out there?
I don't know what else is going on right now. I think have a few Christmas plans going on here. Hopefully have a potluck next week here with the people in our building, and that will be interesting and fun.
Okay. Well, I was thinking more metaphysically based, but I can do another card over here if you'd like, if you're running out of topics.
I think it's just great to be here and know that we are meeting new people all the time and connecting with more people here, and getting a little more known, and I think that it's only going to grow a lot in the new year coming up. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, the new energy is getting more established here, so it's nice to see where it all goes. Okay. Did you have another topic? I don't want to.
No, I'm just waiting for you to read this.
Jump on your bandwagon here. The effects of synergy creating peace on Earth, all points in communication with all other points. The universe is filling up. All kinds of deep subject. It is truly infinite to finite demonstration of symbolism of a peace sign. Okay. Where would I go with that? I'm going to just stay with the peace sign because we don't have it.
It ties in a little bit to the first one you had there.
It does.
Well, it's the same color too. So that's probably why.
That's probably
they're color coded.
Yeah, they're color coded based upon what class it was, and it's interesting when I look at a peace sign. The first thing it just flashed in my mind. If you're having some contention with some people, an argument or some, what I used to do a lot of times is just look right at their third eye, and which is right here, their third eye, that's their point, and just start sending love and light into that. And a lot of times I would even visualize a peace sign over their third eye, and you'd be surprised how quickly that shifts the energy. A nice thing about a peace sign I've noticed, it's a circle, but it has it's actually an arrow that's pointed there, and the arrow points right to the center of it. So what happens with peace? You go all the way from the outside of the circle, which is an infinite expression. It takes based upon the quantum limit, of course, a circle extends in all directions, but it also has a very center. So when we look at a peace sign, two of those lines are pointing right at it. You might say the tip of the arrow is actually pointing at the very center of the peace sign as it extends all the way through, and then makes a reverse and extends back into that. It might take a little visualization for some people, since I don't have a peace sign in front of you, but everybody's seen that 100 times. And so what the peace sign really is, in my mind, is that connection between the infinite and the finite. The infinite being the unbounded sphere or circle on the outside, and the finite being that pure expression of self, that infinite self within, but also a single point. So, if we want to have peace in our lives, one way to do that is to connect to the not only to self. It says that we should love ourselves first, and then all else can be added to that. Well, that all else is that infinite presence. So it's important to not only consider the omnipotence of everything else, the God as it were, but also to consider that finite self within, that central focus within. And the more we can live in the finite presence and also the infinite presence at the same time, the more we're going to have peace in our lives. So maybe you can think about that the next time you see an actual peace sign, the kind that's a circle with the lines coming out, coming down. That's an arrow pointing towards the center, reminding us to be both infinite and finite.
Oh, it's a really nice concept. I've never really considered that. It's just kind of been the universal sign.
It is. Interesting that's how they would choose that, and I love symbols, so I've taken it apart, and of course you can find that in some of the final chapters of the Rainbow Connection, where I go into a lot of these universal peace signs and presences and earth changes that are going on. They're all connected, one way or the other.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So I think it's time for our credits on this.
Yeah, we're down to 3 minutes.
Yeah. So, want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, my book is There Is Love, and I hope that everybody that watches our show would want to read this. You can get it on Kindle at Amazon. You can look on our website at Mystic Muse Online, and there are links there for that. So it starts with my near-death experience and journey of my life up until a couple of years ago, basically my spiritual journey. And I hope that with this book to help others to listen to their own intuition, follow their own guidance and their own map for their life. And this is my CD, Love Will Find a Way. And this is 8 channeled songs that I've written and played on my guitar and sang, and had a little help with some background music on there, and really nice messages in all of these channeled songs as well for guidance in your life. And you can see my newest writings on my blog at deborahchristylove.wordpress.com, and look for a new article coming out in probably just an hour or so once I get posting it.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, always busy, always creating, much like myself. My premier book, of course, is the Rainbow Connection. I apologize for the words being backwards, but you get the gist there. Subtitle Gen Z and the Universal Language of Light. This is a study of the language of light, the universal language of light, and how it affects the final generation, which has been coined Generation Z or Z, depending on where you're at in the world. And this is the most pronounced book about the rainbow ever, dealing with the extremities of prophecy, earth changes, how sacred geometry connects into that this is what you see behind us. That's the rainbow equation there. So it goes into great depth about the connection, the mathematics, the prophecy, the physics and metaphysics of how the rainbow works. So I invite anybody to get a hold of that if you really want to know what the rainbow is all about. And we have Love Illumination, speaking of living in the ashram. That was a book that I wrote while I was in the ashram, subtitle The Aquarian Age, Word of Spiritual Freedom. So 150 writings that can help you connect to spirit each day. Wizard of Oz, a children's book for children of all ages, a journey into finding the rainbow being. So lots of good stuff there. Mystic Muse Online is our page at the shop here. You can also connect with rainbowequation.com if you want to get a lot of the information that you'll find in this book. And rainbow.guru is under construction right now, but looking prettier all the time and more pronounced. So rainbow.guru is going to be illuminating a lot of these same teachings as well.
Yeah, looking forward to that. You've got it looking really great so far. So.
Okay, well, I think that's the end of our time. We're right at 1 hour right now. So thank you to all of our viewers out there, far and wide, that view this, both here and now and later. And have a good week.
Have a great week. See you later.